While you were waking up, scrambling around to get your kid to school this morning, Danny said he woke up thinking someone died. Because you know when you check your phone and there's like 100 messages? But your messages were luckily not about someone dying.
Yeah, and I don't know 100 people, but
since you're the biggest Lakers fan I know.
Yeah, there was like a dozen text messages from people saying, "How did the Lakers get sold? Didn't they just get sold?"
Lakers sold. Boo hoo. A boo hoo. To hoo. A boo.
First of all, I don't sound anything like your impersonation.
Danny was all sad about it, but man,
it doesn't affect me. I'm not a season ticket holder.
Yeah, but it seems like they flipped it, like you said, Danny G, like just some property,
like a piece of property,
like a piece of property. That was just a business decision, and you think there's some honor and clout and pride, and there is, like in owning the Lakers, but it's more like
Mark Walter brought in the Property Brothers and Chip and Joanna Gaines spruced it up and sold it.
Yeah, it's more like, we can make our money. All right, best offer. I can't refuse. Sure.
Flip or flop, bring in Tarek and one of his hot wives.
He cleaned the Staples Center bathrooms, and then he jacked everyone's season tickets up by 35% and said, peace.
They resurfaced the cabinets and said, hey, let's put it on the market.
Maybe there's more than meets the eye, like my Transformers backpack, but it seems like they got an offer they couldn't refuse and went with it.
Well, the buying group,
business. Reminder that it's just a business.
Danny, the buying group that we're talking about, Bob Iger, Josh Kushner, familiar last name.
Oh, yeah.
Were they not involved in a possible expansion franchise?
Yeah, they were one of the lead groups for the expansion Vegas.
Mm-hmm. But they said, hey, let's jump on the Lakers. And the number is a staggering $12.5+ billion.
So almost like a $3 billion profit.
Almost, yeah.
In less than a year, right? Because they were bought and sold late 2025 for $10 billion. So the Mark Walter group bought them for $10 million, which seems like not that long ago because it wasn't. Yeah. And they flipped it for almost $3 billion more.
And don't forget, there was a headline, I think it was a week or so ago, about how Mark Walter has some business dealings that are being investigated. So there's some rumors about that today, like maybe that was another contributing factor
just
for
to
him.
Let it go.
Well, it's also wild because they're a blue chip franchise that, the Bus family, we're talking about a legacy. Like, when a team has the same coach for decades and then all of a sudden they go through a couple years where they have a bunch of coaches. The Lakers were like a steady. It was like the Bus family, then we lost Dr. Bus, and Jeannie and the family took over. So for a long time, that was
and there was a changing of the guard with her brothers, remember, and then her.
But there was such a consistency with that family, at least. And now within a year, essentially, you got two new owners.
Well, Kushner and Iger say they want to compete at the highest level and honor the Bus legacy.
Well,
that's got to be good.
I know locally there's some buzz that Iger in other dealings has been a little bit of a cheap wad, so they're hoping that he
Mr. Disney
opens up the wallet. But I want to point out something, Danny. I know you have a bunch of fun facts about these teams and the value, but I was looking up something because it's so apparent to me. When you have money, if you have money, there's levels of money, right?
I mean, not everybody could relate.
Ryan just said no.
Ryan, you know what it's like when you have money?
No.
Your
mic's not on.
Do you not hear that?
I do not.
He doesn't have a mic. He doesn't have money.
Ryan's like, it costs money to turn this mic on.
Yeah.
To me, there's levels of money. There's like, I'm getting by, paying my bills. There's, I'm in debt money. Then there's like, I manage, I'm good. Then there's like, I don't have to worry about my spending. There's so many different levels of money.
There's rich, and then there's wealth.
Yeah, then there's rich, like, I don't have to worry about anything. And then you see someone that has like way more than you. The richest of the rich folks, not like, I put money away in my 401k and my kids have a healthy 529. Not that. That's like you're doing all right. Wealthy people. What do they all gravitate towards? It's so obvious. Sports franchises are where the money's at. The money is so clearly in the world of sports, whether it's soccer, NFL, NBA, anything. Let me just rip off a few of these. Ryan Reynolds, Wrexham. Matthew McConaughey, Austin FC, Will Ferrell, LAFC, Ed Sheeran's got a soccer club. Reese Witherspoon is part of MLS in Nashville. The sisters, the Williams sisters, are involved in a small stake with the Dolphins. Same with Mark Anthony. Tom Brady, what does he do the minute he retires?
Hooks up with hot chicks.
Hooks up with everyone, holds his nose while he jumps in the ocean. And he also gets involved with the Raiders, the Aces, and Birmingham City FC. LeBron James, part of the Fenway Group, which has the Red Sox, the Penguins. Usher.
Doesn't he have a pickleball thing too?
Yeah, pickleball. Usher, minority stake in the Cavaliers. Justin Timberlake, the Grizzlies. A-Rod, when he's not showing everyone his bulge. Did you see that story, by the way? Maybe put that in midweek major.
No, thank you.
He goes by a rod now, just not it's not A-Rod anymore.
A Rod.
Yeah, it's just a rod.
But A-Rod, of course, as you know, Timberwolves and, the Lynx. So I think I made the point. If you're super rich and wealthy.
It's not even just a flex. It's it's like a solid investment because it's paying off.
Yeah, you're thinking like, that's just a cool flex. No, because the returns and gains on a franchise and probably the tax things you could move around, so much better than being like, I'm going to put it in a Fidelity Mutual Fund.
Yeah.
These guys got money. They know. Do you realize this dude made $2 billion profit?
Yeah, and you said returns. That's exactly what this is with some of these owners, Rich, because think of the cheapo owners. Well, they're not making a ton of money necessarily from the day-to-day operations. Where they make their big amount of money is when they unload the team finally for how much more than they bought it. I have some examples here.
It was I want to hear these examples, but it was probably a better move for Kushner and Iger to spend extra on a franchise that already has a built-in legacy and familiarity.
Or you could be putting your initial stamp on a
that
new
initial
franchise.
stamp costs a lot of money to market and everything else, right? So you got to pay for that familiarity. You got to. I'm sure that it evens out.
You're saying the
in a
Lakers
way.
have a built-in, like it's the Lakers.
It's the Lakers,
the brand.
right? So you're going to pay a little extra for an established brand.
Yeah, because now the rumors are it's going to cost you $8 to $10 million to be an expansion NBA team right now.
Yeah, then who's going to even really know about it?
With a B, by the way. If you said B. B.
Did I say million?
But I'm just saying, like, there's such a difference between $1 million and $1 billion. That's one of those weird things people seem to link it together. Like, oh, he's a billionaire. No.
Yeah.
A lot of people are millionaires if they look at their retirement fund.
They're probably
millionaires not impressive in 2026.
It would have cost us $3 billion just to get the word out there and to market this team.
Do you remember a few
we
years
might as well
ago?
spend $3 billion to get the Lakers. $3 billion extra.
We talked about this on the show a few years ago when LeBron was eyeing that expansion team in Vegas.
Oh yeah.
And when he became a billionaire, we're like, well, he's on his way. But now it's going to cost $8 to $10 billion to have that expansion team in Vegas.
It's always an investment that seems to work out, right?
And you know what happens, too? I know Danny G has this list of fun facts, and we're going to open up the phones, too, at 877-99 on Fox. It's like, when people start selling in your neighborhood and they realize they're getting a lot of money, you start realizing, like, man, maybe it's time for me to sell. So if the Lakers are being sold for $12.5 billion right now, what are other owners thinking about?
I feel like that happened in my neighborhood because after 2020, like we bought our house in 2020.
Whatever, billionaire.
And if you bought your house around 2020,
we call it the house that ESPN built. Yeah. This is what our ESPN money.
Yeah.
By the way, Rich and I don't live together. We both
That's
bought.
what it sounded like.
I know. We both bought separately around the same time.
Yeah, but if you bought in around 2020, when interest rates were like 2 to 3%, anyone that owns a house then has watched their house, no matter where you live around the country, Danny, your equity is through the roof. Think of how much your equity is if you bought in the last 5+ years, and then look at what an NBA owner flipped his team in less than 2 years and made a $2 to $3 billion
if there's no
profit.
Sentimental, attachment to the family legacy attached to it.
Say these guys, if they
guys,
didn't grow
these
up
business dudes,
having an attachment, like say Iger grew up as this diehard Lakers fan.
Yeah,
and it was a dream of his. No, it's a business transaction.
This puts the light bulb over every business guy's head to be like, all right, maybe it's time to sell then because people are willing to spend a lot of more money than we thought.
But you ain't kidding though, comparing it to regular folks in real estate. Like if your parents are baby boomers and they bought their house in the 80s for like $100,000 and now they're like, wait, the neighbors just sold for easily over $1 million? That's the story in a lot of big cities.
What the neighbors do dictates the value of everything else around you.
You start seeing the neighbors one at a time. For sale
and
sign,
it works,
for sale sign, for
It works negatively too on the flip side. I lived in a townhouse complex. I owned it, and everybody started short selling when the economy was bad. And therefore the value of your property goes down too. So owners are looking at this like, yes, it's a seller's market right now.
But you know what? I'll tell you the same thing you say about real estate. Hey, Covino, you made a lot of equity on your property. sell it. And then you're like, well, then what am I going to do? So a lot of these owners are very mentally invested and they love the business angle of it. So you might say, like Danny, before the show, you're like, man, what could James Dolan get between the Knicks and and Madison Square Garden?
And the Sphere comes with that package.
So, I mean, yeah, but then like what's his value? Because he probably is so emotionally connected to all of those things.
I would think it would be a $20 billion sale.
But maybe we think they're all emotionally invested, but maybe they're not. If they're willing to, sell. Honestly, how many months was that?
Both purchases happened within the same 12-month calendar, so it was the end of 2025.
It is. It's just a reminder that for a lot of people, it is just a business. Danny G, give us some of those fun facts for us.
All right, I think you guys both know the Yankees and the Cowboys.
Yes.
Well, the Cowboys, we watched a Jerry Jones documentary, but the Yankees, I always have that fun fact.
1973, the Steinbrenner Group.
I always have this fun fact in my head because when you talk about investing in sports franchises, I know that the 70s, millions of dollars are not what millions of dollars are now, but it just seems fake how low the number is.
Yeah, it's like comical now.
It's almost like get a few friends together that live in an expensive area and you could probably finance it together. He bought Colin Cowherd, Deb Patrick. They could buy this in cash tomorrow. The Yankees were sold for $10 million in 1973. Yep.
Probably one of the greatest sports investments ever. Not probably, one of the greatest sports investments.
That's a 1 year. That's a 1 year pickup on a salary of a utility infielder these days.
That's crazy.
$10 million. Give me a break.
You know the Jerry Jones number from 1989?
It was 100 something, right? What was it?
140 million.
140 mil. And now the Cowboys are what? 5 billion?
Yeah, easy.
5 to 10, 20 billion. Who knows?
Think so. And we're talking about two major franchises that are recognized all over the world, right? So the value's insane there.
All right, we started the segment talking about Jerry Buss.
Okay.
Dr. Buss bought the Lakers in 1979 for how much?
Well, that was when basketball wasn't even televised yet, though, right? So
it was tape delayed.
Yeah, he got that live deal going. I bet you it's still in the 10 million. Isaac, you want to take a crack at it? I would say
you got it.
Yeah, just for clarification, part of that transaction was the LA Kings National Hockey League team and a huge expensive ranch and the Forum. So all told, that whole package was $67.5 million.
There's
what
other
a deal
assets,
for all that.
But still, what a deal is right.
Yeah.
Did they throw in a fish tank and an espresso machine or no?
They did in the Forum Club.
Let's go to the Clippers. Donald Sterling in 1981 bought the Clippers for how much?
No, Clippers have always been the stepchild, right? So of Los Angeles. So, what year?
81.
It's got to be like 50. 50 million.
What do you think, Cove?
55 million?
12.5 million.
Oh, that's right, because all the other stuff.
Steve Ballmer.
Oh, that's right, because the Lakers had the Kings in the Forum. Oh, my God.
Steve Ballmer eventually buys them in 2014 for how much? Ballmer
bought them for, let me guess, like $5 bill? $5 bill?
$2 billion. And at the time, everybody was like, $2 billion. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
but they were bought in 81 for $12 million? That's wild.
Do you remember if you watched any Lakers documentaries? Remember the Clippers were always sort of like, they're second fiddle now, but back then they had no buzz, right?
Yep. Celtics were sold back in 2002 before this latest sale. How much in 2002 for the Celtics?
2002. Man, how off could we be? So just
I'm not winning the prices right on this.
82?
$360 million in 2002. Then they agreed to sell the team last year at $6.1 billion.
Well, if you do a quick Google search today, one of the true stories that comes up as of 7 hours ago, when valuing teams and evaluating all this, the Detroit Lions and their latest string of success has raised their value $2 billion in the last year. The Lions have done so much. Think about it. They were like, they went from nothing to, wow, the Lions are fun. They got the stadium that's popping.
That's why we're seeing athletes invest in teams that they have no affiliation to.
It's just the money
that it doesn't even make sense. Like, with Tom Brady and the Raiders, A-Rod with the Who, and like, it really is just their way to make some cash and flip some money.
All right. So, now this is interesting.
And it's working.
This is interesting. The Lakers just sold for $12.5 billion.
Today. Big news. The biggest news.
the sports franchise that is currently valued the highest in American sports, as you can imagine, out of the NFL is
Cowboys.
What do you think they're currently worth? The latest valuation?
15 million?
Yeah,
15.5 billion. So the Cowboys, the Lakers for an NBA team compared to the highest NFL team, that's a lot of money for the Lakers. Because remember, we saw that stat that the NFL makes more money than all the other sports leagues combined. So 12 mil, if you're Mark Walter, you take that money and run, I think, right? I mean,
no, good for him. Yeah, Mark Walter Group. But like Danny G said, maybe there's more to this story. But either way, he made his money, flipped it. Again, bought it for $10 billion in late 2025. Just sold today for $12.5 billion to Kushner and Iger. And one has to hope, Danny G has to hope, because he was bragging a lot about how his Dodgers, they reinvest. They reinvest into
73% of their profits back into the roster.
You got to hope that that's the plan here.
Yeah, and that they didn't max themselves out getting that $12.5 billion together.
Well, Danny, that was the benefit of Mark Walter owning your team, because you felt this weird comfort in that, well, if they put money back to the Dodgers and it's the same ownership group, they're going to do it the same with the Lakers. But now former Disney bigwig Bob Iger, as you said.
Yeah, and Kushner.
Maybe not known as big spenders, but who knows? Maybe they are.
Well, check out, this is funny, I thought, Mark Walter's comment today. He says, he called owning the Lakers one of the greatest honors of my life. It says the team belongs to L.A. How's it one of the greatest honors of your life? You own them for a few months.
I thought you were going to say his quote was, "I'm rich, bitch."
You know what it is, though? Here's how I look at it. Because you could say that it's
just in his portfolio.
It's more of a business decision, but it is still a flex, right? Like, they think differently. It's like when you watch Golden Collectibles, that weirdo, what's his name? Ken Golden. You know, they have these things worth so much value, but there's never the thrill of keeping it. It's always making your money on it and selling it and saying that you were the guy that had it, that sold it. So he'll always be the guy that had the Lakers and sold them, right? Like, they don't care about the sentimental value of keeping it. Even, on a lower level, if you're a businessman, you're really thinking like a businessman. Rick from Pawn Stars, right? He always wants those items for his store. It's never for him and his own, property and to bring it home because he cares about it. It's to say that he had it and sold it and flipped it and made his money. The bragging right is in I had it and I made my money off of it.
I mean, look at what didn't Jason McIntyre from Fox Sports, that he owned
the big lead.
The big lead.
Yes.
The Ringer, right? You know that Colin at one point is going to sell the volume for a ton of money.
Right? Without a doubt.
So these are all like, it was mine. I built it. And the plan is always, anytime
Ben Maller could have sold BenMaller.com for $3 million if it had been 10 years later.
But it's always interesting because the thrill is like, you have it, but you only have it to sell it.
Yeah. And
that's how you have to start thinking.
Look what Clay Travis did with Outkick.
Exactly.
Clay sold Outkick. And, interestingly enough, anytime a nerd, and I say that kindly, I say it in a nice way, anytime some smart nerd builds an app, they're not doing it to be like, I want to own it. They are building these apps to hope that some big tech company is like, I'm impressed. Here's $800 million.
There's still so much pride in having it, even if it's temporary, right? Because this is what I'm making my money off of.
Well, Magic Johnson,
that's part of the story.
Magic Johnson's thrilled, saying 2 better owners. And saying
that's cool. That's got to make you feel good, Danny.
Saying that Iger's a great guy that's going to bring championships back to L.A.
I don't know if Magic is the most informed dude on social media.
Luka said he's ready to build something special with the new owners in L.A. So, hey, everyone's on board. And just a reminder, wealthy people.
And by the way,
that's who invests in teams, because look at the money.
If these guys were the guys looking to invest in Vegas, that's other opportunity for other bigwigs. So we're going to see probably some other former athletes and other big important names now being the names tossed around for the Vegas venture, because Kushner and Iger were looking to do it in Vegas. So that means someone else is going to do it now.
By the way, Talika fan says in our YouTube channel chat, maybe my favorite owner transaction story is when the St. Louis group sold the Hawks and they got a percentage of the NBA television rights.
I do remember that.
That's crazy.
I do also know that
it's a reminder too. Like, you have to take emotion out of everything, whether it be your home, whether
you got to remember though.
It's all you got to make your money, man.
You got to remember though, good ownership is important, but it doesn't automatically mean a win. Look, like the Mets had the worst ownership group in Major League Baseball. Remember the Wilpon group? They got wrapped up with all the losing money with who was that guy? Bernie Madoff and everything, right? They were miserable. Mets hated him. Sell the team. They get Steve Cohen, who's a lifelong Mets fan, is a billionaire, spends all the money, and they still stink. So but better to have an owner that's in it to win it, though.
But big news and kind of shocking at the same time too. That's why Danny G's phone was just going wild this morning because no one expected that. Came sort of out of nowhere.